Hey everyone, and welcome back to this explainer. Okay, today we are tackling something that is literally one of the most highly testable yet completely misunderstood concepts on your corporate finance exam: the critical relationship between stated interest rates and market interest rates. By the end of the session, you're going to understand exactly how this one relationship dictates bond valuation. Let's kick things off by putting you right in the shoes of a corporate treasurer. Imagine you're going through all the hassle of structuring a brand new bond issue. You're drafting the indenture, and you proudly stamp a big, bold $1 million right there on the certificates. You are officially issuing a $1 million bond today. So here's the million-dollar question, literally. Are investors actually going to hand you exactly $1 million in cash for it right now? Well, you might be surprised to hear this, but the answer is usually no. The reality is that the upfront cash proceeds you actually receive almost never match the face amount printed on the bond. It's incredibly rare. Whether you get that exact million, or fall painfully short of it, or even get lucky and rake in more than $1 million, it all boils down to an epic battle between two very specific percentages. So let's meet our two key players. In one corner, we have the stated rate. You might also know this as the coupon rate. This is the percentage locked in and printed right there on your bond contract. It tells the investor precisely how much periodic cash interest they are promised, period. But in the other corner, we've got the market rate, also known as the effective rate. This is a living, breathing number. It's whatever rate is prevailing out there in the wild, broader financial markets at the exact moment you try to sell your bond. Think about it from the investor's point of view, right? They're shopping around. They are constantly comparing that fixed, stated rate you are offering against the market rate they could easily get somewhere else. They're hunting for the most attractive yield. And that shopping mindset brings us to this, your golden rule cheat sheet. Seriously, memorize this whole dynamic. If your bond's stated rate matches the market rate perfectly, boom, your bond sells at par. The cash proceeds you get equal the face amount. But what if your stated rate is higher than the market rate? Investors love that. They'll pay a premium to get their hands on it, meaning your cash proceeds will actually exceed the face amount. On the flip side, if your stated rate is lower than the market rate, your bond looks pretty wimpy. You'll have to sell it at a discount just to get people to buy it, meaning you're walking away with less cash than the face amount. This simple little mathematical relationship, it dictates the whole shebang. Section 1. Proving the discount. When your bond pays less than the market.
All right, let's pull this out of the theoretical clouds and look at a hard example straight from the source material. Imagine an entity issuing bonds with a total face amount of $1 million. The stated rate, that promised cash interest, is 6%, and it's a 5-year term. But here's the snag. When you actually go to sell these bonds, the prevailing interest rate out in the market is 8%. Your 6% bond is getting absolutely crushed by the 8% market. Obviously, no investor in their right mind is going to hand you $1 million for a 6% return when they can literally just walk next door and get 8%, right? So to move these bonds, you've got to offer an upfront incentive.
So how do we figure out exactly what that incentive needs to be? Well, we have to calculate the present value of the bond's cash flows, and we discount them at that higher 8% market rate. Step 1. Take that $1 million face amount that gets repaid in 5 years and discount it at 8%. That gives us a present value of $680,580. Step 2. We figure out the present value of the cash interest. 6% of $1 million is $60,000 paid every single year. Discount that stream of $60,000 payments at the 8% market rate, and you get $239,563. Finally, step 3. Just combine those two present value numbers to see your total cash proceeds on issuance day. And there we have it, $920,143. This is the absolute crux of the matter. Because your 6% stated rate was lagging behind the 8% market rate, you had to sell at a discount. As the issuer, you're receiving significantly less than that $1 million face value up front. That missing $79,000 and change, that right there is your discount. It's the mathematical mechanism that makes sure the investor's ultimate yield to maturity catches up to the 8% market rate they were demanding all along. Section 2. Proving the premium when your bond beats the market. Okay, let's totally flip the script. Let's look at the exact opposite scenario in example 4.2. We're keeping the $1 million face amount and the 5-year term. But this time, your bond offers a really juicy 8% stated rate, while the prevailing market rate is dragging its feet at just 6%. This is a brilliant illustration of investor psychology in a favorable market. Because your bond is paying out $80,000 in annual cash interest, while the market is only offering $60,000 for the exact same risk, investors are literally going to fight for the privilege of buying your bond. They are more than happy to pay extra upfront to lock in that superior cash flow. And again, the valuation relies entirely on present value math. But notice the big shift here. We are now discounting those cash flows at the lower 6% market rate. So, step 1, the present value of that $1 million face amount discounted at 6% comes out to $747,260. Step 2, the present value of those highly attractive $80,000 annual interest payments discounted at 6% jumps all the way up to $336,989. Step 3, we combine them to get our total cash proceeds from the bond issue. Because we are discounting at a rate that's lower than the coupon, it mathematically inflates the present value of the bond's cash flows. Just look at that massive final number, $1,084,249. This perfectly cements our golden rule. Because the 8% stated rate was greater than the 6% market rate, investors happily paid a premium. The issuer just collected over $1 million in upfront cash proceeds simply by offering a return that beat the market average. Pretty sweet, right? Section 3. The ultimate exam trap. How test makers will try to trick you. Now, listen up, because understanding the math is really only half the battle. You also have to navigate the exam traps. And here is the biggest one. Never, ever confuse issuer proceeds with the face amount. Test makers love to try and trick you with this. They'll hand you a scenario where a bond is issued at a discount, walk you through all the numbers, and then suddenly ask what the total liability is at maturity. And they are just sitting there, eagerly waiting for you to pick the completely wrong figure from a multiple choice list. To effortlessly dodge those tricks, you just need to lock this fundamental timeline concept into your brain. Face amount is the maturity amount. It's that clean $1 million that is paid back at the absolute end of the bond's life. Cash proceeds, on the other hand, represent the present value. That's the actual, real-world cash received by the issuer at the beginning of the timeline, right on the day the bonds are sold. If there's a premium or a discount involved, these two numbers will simply not be the same. So when you're reading a test question, take a breath, pause, and ask yourself, are they asking me about day 1 or are they asking about year 5? To wrap things up, I want to leave you with a quick thought exercise on interest rate risk, which, as we know, is heavily tied to the duration or term of a bond. Based on everything we just went over regarding the push and pull between stated rates and market rates, what if you issue a bond today and market interest rates suddenly plunge tomorrow? What exactly happens to the value of the bonds you just issued? Apply the golden rule we learned today to that future market fluctuation. Keep that puzzle in the back of your mind as you continue studying, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.